Hey everyone, this is Onisan Bomber. Remember Angel Beats? I think anyone over the age of 25 will remember Angel Beats. Today I want to talk about why Angel Beats deserves a much needed remake, and not just for nostalgia reasons, I also want to make a financial case for it. 15 years ago, Angel Beats graced our screens. It was a 13-episode anime about a bunch of high school students who died, however their souls couldn't move on. Instead, their souls ended up in a high school that is somewhere between life and death, heaven and earth. It is in this high school where they continue their youth and go on a quest to find God to give him or her a piece of their mind. When it came out, it took the anime scene by storm. A lot of people might not remember it, but it was huge. Like Demon Slayer huge. Angel Beats had 13 episodes 15 years ago, and then it went away, like it never existed in the first place. No sequel was announced, nothing. In the grand scheme of things, it was a short-lived little anime that had its 5 minutes of fame all the way back in 2010, and then the world moved on. Except the world didn't move on. Not really. Not fully. And that is the first reason for why I think Angel Beats deserves an overdue remake. Reason 1. The franchise is still very much alive. Fans still love Angel Beats. About a year ago, when I was walking on Akihabara in Tokyo, I went figurine shopping, and Akihabara has tons of shops that sell a combination of secondhand figurines and brand new ones. And among the brand new figurines that I saw there, lots and lots of Tenshi Angel Beats figurines. Not secondhand ones, no, brand new figurines that were made and pushed to market. It is unheard of for an anime that was so short and is so old to receive new figurine releases from manufacturers. And it isn't cheap either to make such a thing. Designing the figure, creating the mold, getting the manufacturing process just right, it can take up to $50,000 or more. And that's not even considering the licensing costs. You won't see new stuff like this for your Lion April, Anohana, or even some of the remakes that we've gotten, like Shaman King or Spice and Wolf. Let me emphasize, Angel Beats is the only 13-episode anime from 2010 that has still this level of active commercial support almost 16 years later. Frankly, that is unheard of. And look, it goes beyond that. There are pop-up cafes featuring Angel Beats. Even today, you could take your girlfriend on a date to an official Angel Beats cafe. Angel Beats is still doing new game collaborations and even doing jewelry releases. You could propose to your girlfriend using an Angel Beats ring. Whether or not she'll be happy about such a thing would be up to her and the gods to decide. But this proves one thing. Angel Beats fans are still there. They're eager to spend their hard-earned money on this intellectual property, and that's the point. Look, it's expensive to make an anime. There are stories about studios outsourcing animation work to Vietnam and other parts of the world to save on budget, but the reality is that even if you do that, it's still very expensive to make an anime. Voice actors, directors, storyboarders, keyframe animators, and so on. It costs around $100,000 to $300,000 to make a single episode. Closer to $1 million if it's action-heavy like Demon Slayer or Chainsaw Man. And it's not like a company just greenlights an anime and it gets made. Making any anime requires investors, people who are willing to put up the money. Studios and companies almost never take on the entire financial risk of such a huge investment. And after 15 years, Angel Beats is still consistently making money, even though it has received no sequel support during that time. That is potential profit that should be music to the sound of investors. Imagine the merchandise a second season of Angel Beats could sell. So, the case for massive profits is there. But going beyond that, there's reason 2 for having season 2. Reason 2 being, we are in the era of remakes. Let's ignore Hollywood for now, because they are drowning in remakes. The anime industry has been dipping its toes into remakes as well, although not to the same extent as Hollywood, thankfully. But clearly, the conditions for profitable remakes exist in the anime industry. Fruit Basket was remade in 2019, and it is considered to be superior to the 2001 version. Higurashi, When They Cry, was a sequel to the original Higurashi, but advertised as a remake. It's something of a mix, it's a bit confusing, but anyway. Shaman King got a remake in 2021. Spice and Wolf got a remake in 2024, and the second season has already been greenlit. Bartender, Glass of Gods has been remade. and a Hitman Reborn remake or sequel. It's a bit confusing, but anyway, it has been announced. Studios are clearly interested in remaking old IPs, mining that nostalgia, and creating remakes that are superior to the original version. Some of them are even more faithful to the story than the original anime. Case in point, Shaman King. So, the industry precedent has been set. The current industry conditions are right for a remake of an older IP. Investors are willing to pony up the money to remake an older IP. It is time for Angel Beats to get its turn. But there's a third reason for a remake, arguably the most important one. But before we get to that, let me do a shameless plug-in from the video sponsor, me. If you liked Angel Beats, then you might be interested in one of the light novels that I have written. I Met You After the End of the World is about a world where humanity gets wiped out by a virus. There are only 2 survivors in Tokyo, Yamada Daisuke and Fujiwara Sayaka. These 2 would have normally never met. They would have just walked past each other, never so much as glancing each other if they were on the same train. The story follows their unlikely meeting and how they survive in a world where the remnants of modern civilizations are quickly fading. All 4 volumes are available for purchase on Amazon, or you can read them on Kindle Unlimited, and Volume 5 is coming out in a few weeks. Anyways, back to the video. Reason 3. The original story was rushed. I think everyone can agree that the ending of Angel Beats was rushed. In the last 2 episodes, we get a montage of the entire cast of characters finding peace and then graduating and then their souls move on. But this feels unearned. They had great adventures during the entire story and then they just move on. Of course, the central characters like Otonashi and Yuri and Kanade aka Tenshi get the story told, as well as Hinata and Yui, but the roster of characters is huge in Angel Beats. Most of the other characters are just like, alright, I found peace, let's move on, but exploring just a portion of those characters and the details and the world and finding God could easily fill a 24-episode remake. The ending was so rushed that there is a persistent internet legend that Angel Beats was planned for 24 or 26 episodes and then got cut down to 13 because the budget has been cut in the middle of development. I've looked for the source of this information for years, and the closest thing is a 2009 interview with Angel Beats producer Yosuke Toba, where he talks about the challenges of fitting Maeda's vision into 13 episodes, and he mentions that the overflow of story material went into novels and drama CDs. To summarize, this overflow of material went into Angel Beats Heaven's Door, which is a manga, 11 volumes, and it fills in the backstory for some of the characters. We got Track Zero and other light novels, which were prequel stories in some ways. We got multiple drama CDs with extra character arcs, and we got 1 single visual novel. All of this proves that there is more story that didn't fit into the 13 episodes, and all they have to do would be to take this material and expand it into a full 24-episode anime. So, in summary, after 15 years, the interest in Angel Beats is more than just alive. It is thriving. The financial incentive for investors is there. The story incentive is there. It wouldn't be a lazy remake. It would be a work that honors and expands on the original. But an Angel Beats remake will not happen. Why? Simply put, the original creator, Jun Maeda, isn't interested in Angel Beats anymore. In an interview, he said that he is surprised by the success of Angel Beats, and that to this day he does not understand why it became successful. He considers it to be a hit from the past. However, considering the compromised nature of the story structure, Angel Beats is the anime to benefit from a 24-26 episode remake. But sadly, if Jun Maeda and Key and the other senior decision makers are not interested, then it will never happen, no matter how clear the profit potential is. And maybe, just maybe, at the remake-obsessed Hollywood and what it has become, maybe it's better to let sleeping dogs lie. But every now and then, I wonder, with the 20th anniversary of Angel Beats coming up in less than 5 years, maybe there is a big investor out there who's willing to take on the financial risk of a remake and to push the original creators to come back for one last ride, to bring the family back together. But hey, everyone's allowed to dream a little, right? Anyways, that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. And don't forget to subscribe and like.